Here it comes. In just 5 days, Donald J. Trump will be sworn in as the President of the United States. Hillary and Bill Clinton say they're going to the inauguration, but Congressman John Lewis says he is boycotting.
I don't see the president-elect as a legitimate president.
Will other Democrats revolt en masse? President Obama's chief of staff will be here live. Plus, hear it here first. President-elect Trump says he wants Obamacare repealed immediately.
We're going to move on this as quickly as we can. Definitely is a plan within the first 100 days.
But what will the replacement look like? Senator and Dr. Rand Paul will debut his bill right here exclusively in minutes. And deep dive.
If Putin likes Donald Trump, I consider that an asset.
The Senate now says it will investigate Trump's ties to Russia, a day after a top Republican said it was no business of theirs. What will they discover? Plus, the best political minds will be here with insights on what happens next. Hello, I'm Jake Tapper in Washington, where the State of our Union is in rehearsals for the inauguration of Donald J. Trump. You are overlooking the Capitol, where preparations are underway right now for Friday's parade and swearing-in ceremony. But not every American is celebrating. A contingent of House Democrats, led by Congressman John Lewis, a civil rights icon and proud, even partisan Democrat, plan to boycott the inauguration. Members of his party are divided on the issue, with Trump's rival Hillary Clinton and former President Bill Clinton saying they will attend. And of course, President Obama and First Lady Obama will be there to hand the baton to the Trumps. I'm joined this morning by President Obama's Chief of Staff, Dennis McDonough. Dennis, thanks so much for being here. It's quite a thing to have you here on the last Sunday of the Obama presidency.
I appreciate very much the chance to be with you, Jake.
So let me ask you, there are now at least 18 House Democrats who are boycotting the Trump inauguration. Does President Obama think that's appropriate, or does he think they should follow his lead and attend for the sake of honoring the office and the peaceful transfer of power?
Well, the president has made very clear since the election that we should do everything in our power in this transition period to make sure that the next president and his team are up and ready to go. In fact, on Tuesday night in his speech, he called him the freely elected president of the United States. So that's the charge that we've taken. By the same token, these Democrats and others have pointed out that they've got significant concerns. And we found some of those concerns. The intelligence shows that the Russians did intervene. They did intervene with the purpose of helping one candidate and hurting the other. So these are by no means trivial concerns. So my hope would be that the president-elect will reach out to somebody as consequential and as somebody who is such a leader as John Lewis, who has done so many things over the course of his life, to try to work this out. And hopefully not just reach out to him, but pursue some of the policies that Mr. Lewis has literally fought, bled, and gone to jail for over the course of his remarkable life. And that would be the kind of thing that would not only send a message to the American people that we're prepared to work together, but would also send a message to the Russians that we are united. Their efforts to divide us, to weaken us, to advance their own interest at the expense of ours are going to fail.
But just to be clear, though, President Obama thinks that President-elect Trump is legitimate.
The president has made very clear that he believes that he is the freely elected president. He will be inaugurated on Friday, and he will come into office, hopefully strengthened by the kind of transition that we've tried to run in this White House.
As somebody who saw his own legitimacy questioned repeatedly as President Obama, including by the incoming president-elect, Donald Trump, with that birther nonsense, does he think that Democrats should put this away, this whole idea of legitimate, illegitimate?
The president's not going to get in the middle of this right now. I think what ultimately the President-elect Trump's success will be determined by his ability to implement the kinds of policies and to have the kind of success that we've had over the course of this administration. Take one of the issues that I think he mentions over the course of the last several days, which is crime. Crime is down. Crime is way down. In fact, crime is down at the same time that the prison populations in this country are down. That's the first time that's ever happened. So we feel very good about the progress that we've made over the course of these 8 years, and we hope that the next president will continue a lot of those policies that have resulted in that progress.
Michael McFaul, who was President Obama's ambassador to Russia, put out a tweet this weekend that I want to show you. He wrote, quote, "It is unusual for transition teams to have contact with foreign governments The number of calls to Kislyak, which was Russia's ambassador to the U.S. during the Obama transition, was 0. This is a specific reference to President-elect Trump's incoming national security advisor, Mike Flynn, reaching out to the Russian ambassador several times on and around the day that the Obama White House announced new sanctions and punishments against Russia. Do you have any concerns about those calls and attempts to reach out by Mike Flynn?
Well, Josh was asked about this on Friday, Jake, and I think he answered it just right, which is to say, fact is, the content of the calls is what matters. We have pursued a policy throughout the course of this transition, which is the one that we pursued when we were coming in 2008, which is there's one president at a time. That's important so that the American people know exactly what to expect. And it's also important so that our adversaries are not confused by what we intend to do, by what the United States' position is, and about the significance of our feeling or our intentions on some particular issue.
Do you have any knowledge of what the content of the call was?
I don't.
Are you concerned at all that it was, don't worry about these sanctions, we will undo them when we get into office?
I'm not going to get into any particular concerns, but I do think that the content matters, and we'll see how that shakes out.
About 9 days ago, you were in the room when President Obama and Vice President Biden were briefed by the top intelligence officials in the country about not just the intelligence community report on the Russian hacking, but also that addendum, that annex, the 2-page synopsis about that former MI6 British officer's memos. I know you're not going to get into the content, but Vice President Biden confirmed that that synopsis was there. And the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, tried to explain it in a statement. He said, part of our obligation is to ensure that policymakers are provided with the fullest possible picture of any matters that might affect national security. Do those matters affect national security, or do you agree with President-elect Trump that this is a political witch hunt by the intelligence community trying to hurt him?
Look, the president thought it was very important to ask for this assessment of what precisely happened in our election in 2016, but not just in 2016, also in 2012 and in 2008, 2 elections that he stood in. And in fact, in 2008, as you know, Jake, and as everybody knows, we were also hacked at that time.
But nothing was released.
Nothing was released. The point is, it's important for the president, it was important to the president, that we get a full and complete assessment from the intelligence community so that we could brief that to policymakers who would stay here and the incoming policymakers so that they can come up with policy and implement that policy to ensure this doesn't happen again. We think we got that from the IC in this case.
But about the synopsis, do you think that including that was the intelligence community trying to mess with Donald Trump, trying to get uncorroborated rumors out there in a sneaky way?
I have no, look, the intelligence community is staffed by an unbelievable cadre of professionals who have dedicated their lives and in many cases put their lives at risk to get really critical, timely, and important information to policymakers. I have no reason to believe that they pursued this tasking, this assignment with anything but the most straightforward professional goals in mind.
Are you at all concerned that the Russians have something on Donald Trump?
Look, the job description of Chief of Staff is to be concerned and to worry about things. But the thing that we're worried about right now is to make sure that the incoming team has all the information, all the readiness, all the preparation that they need, that they can hit the ground running at 12:01 on Friday after the president is inaugurated here, and they take over.
I recognize that your hands are kind of tied as to what you can say, but you didn't deny that you were concerned.
Look, I'm paid to be concerned about everything, Jake, and that's my job description. That's what I do, and that's what I'll continue to do until 12:01 on Friday.
A big part of the Obama legacy, of course, is the affordable